In our modern times, we now have women as much as men, or whatever the spectrum is today, the whole spectrum, emerging and running businesses exceptionally well, making income. And sometimes today, the wives are producing more than the husbands. It used to be in the 50 years ago, 60 years ago, there was more of a kind of a standard model that the guy does the work and the females raise the kids. That is kind of squashed today. And now they're still there, but it's much less. And now both are participating in work, both competing in making income. And so sometimes if the male is still stuck in the old pattern that I need to provide for the wife or whatever, and all of a sudden the wife's making more money than the male can sometimes feel castrated or feel, you know, less than. Well, if you're the female and you're making more income and you love the husband because he's providing a whole bunch of other valuable things in your life, fulfillment and affection, maybe he loves great fatherhood and many other things. Just know, acknowledge the things he's doing and letting him know if it wasn't for those things, you wouldn't be able to go out and provide. And I'm grateful that I'm able to provide the income, but you're able to provide and do all these things. Let him know what you are grateful for. If he's sensing that he can't keep up with you and he's feeling castrated and somehow negated because he's trapped in the idea that I'm a provider only, then yeah, he's probably going to feel that way. But if you acknowledge what he is doing and let him know that they're grateful for all those things, you're giving him feedback and that he's making it possible. So he's actually helping you make the money. If you say, you know, by you doing all this, I'm able to produce a portion of what I'm producing is really your production, and help him see that that's part of his production, why he's doing all these things. You know, I had a woman who made a lot of money. She was really a powerhouse. Her husband didn't make anything. And he had long hair and earrings and cooked and took around and traveled the kids and took them places. It was a complete reverse role from the 1950s. And she was the one that had short hair and was playing the masculinized side, if you will. And it was quite interesting. She made $20 million a year and he was not making anything. And she was upset because he wasn't competing. Well, very few people make $20 million a year. And so hey, there's not, you know, but what nature does is all relationships strive for androgyny. So if somebody's really business and finance and intellect oriented, sometimes the other person is more artsy and more family, social, and physical health oriented. And they meet with each other to make sure there's no disowned parts amongst the family member. It's an androgyny. It's a masculine feminine integration. And whatever side the male or female plays, the other side shows up. You tend to marry your disowned part. And so that's perfect. That's not a mistake. It's not somebody's better or worse. All of it's needed. If you have an overproducer, you'll probably have a consumer that comes in to balance it out. So honor it. If you try to make everybody just like you got the twilight zone. You know, if you were to get up in the morning and be married to someone that's exactly like you, you'd probably kill them. You wouldn't last very long. So nature has a way of bringing in that complementary opposite to make sure that there's an androgyny, a wholeness, to make sure that we get a wholeness of life. Our spiritual quest, our intellectual quest, our business, our finance, our family, our social, our physical areas of life. So honor that part that's been the disowned part and quit projecting your values on them. Ask how specifically is whatever your husband's doing helping you fulfill what you're doing, and how whatever you're doing help them fulfill what they are. If you think you're doing more for them, they're going to feel castrated. If you think you're doing less and they're doing more, you're going to feel humbled. But if you can see that you're both helping each other achieve a wholeness, an androgynous wholeness, then great, you move forward in life. So take the time to go and find out and let them know how much you appreciate the parts they play. Because frankly, my dynamic, I'm pretty good at making the business and making the income. I don't know. I'm not so good at running around taking kids to football games and baseball games and those kind of things. That wasn't my thing. So I'm grateful I have somebody that would love doing that. Honor that, but let them know that by you doing that, I can make the income. If I didn't, my income would drop. Whatever that drop of income is really what you're earning. They're earning money. You may actually be surprised. They may be earning as much money as you once you put that into concept, and give them credit for what you're able to make because they're able to do those things. Honor them and find out how they serve you and let them know it. You won't castrate them that way. And when you love people who they are, they turn into who you love. So give yourself permission to have an androgynous, fulfilled overall relationship and appreciate people for who they are. If you honor them for their values and appreciate how their values serve your values, you'll be fulfilled in that dynamic.